Marketing is do it. आज तक भी लिया, आज के बाद भी
Welcome to our podcast 0 to X. And this is a brutal podcast, not
Yeah.
as brutal as would you think, but इसमें ना the questions will be very clear, in which we all expect to really learn the value of money and how, as an agency, you are able to deliver results to your clients, and as an agency, how are you able to derive an ROI for your effort to which you put in building businesses for others. So, welcome to our podcast,
Yeah.
and let's start with your introduction.
Sure. And let's put this on it. Yeah. So thanks for having me, Tushar. I've seen your podcast and I'm happy to know that I'm the first one who's having this brutal thing introduced.
Second.
Okay, second one. Okay, no. Still, I'm glad because I mean, I would love to talk about facts
Right.
more.
Right.
And so about me, I'm born and brought up in Chandigarh. I worked for a very short while. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My first startup when I was then I was 18, and then I worked for 1.5 year in Gurgaon with a couple of advertising agencies. But then, that entrepreneurial spirit in me was always telling me to, go back to the hometown and start something. And at that time, so this was 7 years ago. So at that time, there were not many marketing agencies as such, and especially digital marketing agencies as such. So yeah, I started and it worked out very well for me. So that's a little bit of introduction about me. Besides this, I'm also an art of living teacher. I take meditation courses, and yeah, that's about me.
So, Hina, you started your company, Meraki. Was it a passion project, or were you there just to make brutal money?
See, to be very honest with you, I've always had one goal, and that is to make brutal money. So marketing came across. I loved doing it. I loved working with brands, developing ideas, and planning how to launch products, understand the market. So I mean, I loved doing it. I still love doing it. But at the end of the day, it's all about making money.
So, as an agency, what is your primary source of making money for your agency?
So for the agency, it's of course the tie up with the client, the client contracts, so quarterly retainerships. I mean, that's how we as an agency earn money.
So that is as an agency.
Yeah.
And once you have an agency, then I'm sure you're not the only one who's working in the
Of course.
agency. There are operating costs,
Yeah.
there are advertising costs even to an advertising agency,
Yeah.
and plus you have salaries to pay. So would you want to highlight on how many people and what is the average salary, and what is it in it actually for you?
See, I mean, it's not as rosy as it looks from the outside, first of all. because in the initial time of starting an advertising agency, or a lot of freelancers who are doing, digital marketing, for them it is much more lucrative in the beginning because there are no costs involved. You are the only one getting paid. The entire money is yours. Once you have a full-fledged agency, which I have now from a couple of years, you figure out that at the end of the day, the margin is probably even lesser than any other business because there are so many hidden costs involved. Salaries, overheads, softwares, things that you probably, being a first generation business owner, probably didn't even account for in the beginning. So, I mean, of course, there's a lot of cost involved, and there's not, if you're a professional agency, there's not one person doing all the things or doing different things. So, us as an agency, we have one different team for content, different team for performance, different team for production. ऐसा नहीं है कि like a lot of maybe smaller agencies do that, interns are doing the work, or maybe you have junior profiles who are doing everything for you. In that case, still they probably have a bigger margin to work with. But once you start hiring professionals, you realize that eventually whatever the client is paying is at par with what they are getting. Right? It's not that you're making a lot out of it. It's not like that.
How does a company decide, or what do you think, or your suggestion would be for a company to decide that they should build an entire team for themselves to do their marketing, or should they get an external agency on a retainership fee to build their company?
See, in most of the cases, and I'm not saying this because I own an agency, but in most of the cases, it's a wiser choice to have an agency. Why, I'll tell you. Because number one, having an in-house team in comparison to having a good agency is going to cost you a lot, right? Say, for example, we have a unit of people, say 6 people, right? One of them is a designer, one of them is an editor, one of them is a meta ad expert, one is a Google ad expert, one is brilliant with content. And this team of 5, 6 people is, say, working on 4 to 5 accounts. That is how it is viable. Now, if you say I want to hire 6 people for me to do this job and I am one account myself, one, they're not going to be productive, you know. Second, it will be a lot of cost for you. And at the end of the day, it's like owning a small agency altogether. So it's double, triple the work for you as well to manage, those many people. And if you say that I will hire 1 or 2 people and make them do the job of an agency, then of course the quality is going to suffer. Right? You can never compete with the kind of quality that a team of 5, 6 experts can give you, whereas 2 people who are doing everything. Right? So it's not viable for especially a small medium business to have an in-house team if they want that quality of work.
So, what do you mean by small medium business?
Small medium businesses, I mean,
Till what level you think an agency should be hired, and probably beyond a certain level, they should start working with internal teams. Is that what you wanted to say?
yeah, I mean, if you are ready to invest over 10 lakhs a month on marketing, then you should consider having an in-house team.
Okay.
Maybe this is also a lesser figure, I would say, because even if you're a big company, a lot of big companies hire different agencies. Say, you have an agency which is expert in performance. Then you have another agency which they are brilliant at social, organic, right? So once you have that kind of a budget, then a separate story comes into picture where you can have multiple good agencies. Even then, having an in-house team is not a better option as compared to having different agencies.
What is your thought on explaining to people what is the difference between actually between branding and marketing?
Okay, so this is a very, I mean, basic question, but a lot of people still don't know
Exactly.
the difference. See, is, and branding and marketing both are ongoing things. That, if you have a company and you're trying to build a brand, it has to happen throughout the journey from the first day to the last day, right? Branding is building credibility, building a sense of relation with the market in terms of, people knowing who you are, right? Then creating a certain position, brand positioning. Branding is not just making a logo or having a good, color palette or typography. It is more of an emotion that people associate you with. So that is branding, but then it has to continue throughout. Right? Marketing is making that branding functional, right? So reaching out to people reaching out to you, right? That is more towards marketing. And both of them are equally important. A lot of times people jump into marketing without properly deciding that what is your brand positioning? Who are you trying to be? Why should people listen to you? Right? Unless all those questions are answered, there is no way you can have a marketing plan, according to me.
How do you, derive an ROI-driven strategy as a marketing agency for your client? So, what are the aspects you keep in mind? Suppose you're having the first meeting with your client, from understanding his or her product, then understanding the addressable market, then understanding how you would want to build a market plan, and then eventually delivering an ROI. Because what I certainly feel, many agencies, they'll give you a budget, a random budget. However, they never talk about ROI.
Yeah.
Because once you start talking about ROI, the money given by the business to an agency will not feel like an expense. It'll be treated like an investment,
Correct.
right? So how does your agency actually clarify to your client that this exercise, or how do you actually clarify कि ये ROI
Yeah.
के लिए है?
See, first of all, the budget ideally should never come from the agency. It should come from the client. It's your brand. You have to make your business model. You have to make your sales plan. Your sales plan will, in a way, define your marketing plan. And you are the one who has to decide that in a quarter or the next quarter, what is your marketing spend that you're willing to do. And then comes the media plan. And then comes the digital marketing plan, right? The biggest mistake maximum business owners are doing is they go to an agency and they say, okay, how much are you going to charge me? How much do you think we should spend on ads? These are the questions you internally need to decide that these are my sales goals. In order to meet these sales goals, this is my marketing budget. Okay. That clarity has to come from the business. And in case it's not there, then at least you need to know your revenue goals, your sales goals, and then sit with the agency, ask them, this is what I want to achieve, this is where I want to reach. How much will it take? Right. Or the other way around. Right. You give them a budget, and now coming to the part where the budget is decided and how do you generate ROI, right? In that case, I think the first thing that comes into picture is the KPI of the agency, which is so vague, which is so ambiguous, and ultimately the churn rate of every agency is so high these days because the expectation is not set right. Like the KPIs are not defined correctly. The business owner would think that paying an X amount to an agency will make me a brand, which is not possible. Right? Number one, you're not paying that kind of a money. Number two, alone marketing can do nothing to build your brand. It takes a whole lot of other things which you have to do on your part. Right? So, generating ROI, उससे पहले ज़रूरी है that what are the KPIs of the agency? How will you measure the performance of the agency? And that cannot be based on a gut feeling. What a lot of businesses are doing. Creative पसंद आया नहीं आया, काम करके मजा आ रहा नहीं आ रहा. These are not KPIs.
They are emotional driven exercises which are resulting into nothing.
Yeah. So it has to be data driven.
Yeah.
And then there was a time when you were doing print, when you were doing radio, when you were doing all other activities. Right? Nobody asked that how do I vet कितने impressions हैं या नहीं, इसमें से कितनी leads आई. You give a ad in the paper. How do you know आपको कितनी inquiries आएंगी?
And the next day it's expired.
Yeah, I mean, but when it comes to digital, you think कि अभी digital marketing शुरू किया और sale बढ़ जाएगी. Expectation ही गलत है. That is the first thing that needs to be rectified. And in terms of return on marketing or return on investment, see, I think marketing agency को अगर D2C ब्रांड नहीं है, अगर D2C ब्रांड है तो ROI की बात करनी चाहिए। अगर D2C ब्रांड नहीं है तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम SQL की बात कर सकते हैं, which is a sales qualified lead, कि with this budget, these are the amount of inquiries which are going to be valid for you, which we can generate for you. Because उसके आगे तो मार्केटिंग एजेंसी का काम ही नहीं है ना, वो तो आपकी सेल्स टीम का काम है. So it is almost unrealistic to ask a marketing agency, if you're not a D2C brand, that what is the ROI. They are not going to tell you what is the ROI. So if it is a D2C brand, then yes, we talk about ROAS, return on ad spend, how much you should spend, what are the kind of sales that we can get you, because वहाँ पे the entire customer journey is governed by the marketing agency, right? Unlike an offline brand.
Do you feel that, or probably do you have any data of market and many other different segments in which you can actually help your clients identify that this is the certain percentage of your revenue which you should start spending on marketing, advertising?
It's going to be very different for every industry, for every ticket size.
Yeah.
So the higher the ticket size is, the longer it is going to take for you to sort of get a return on marketing, because you're building trust in people to eventually buy that high ticket item from you. But if I talk about a low ticket item, like a stationery brand for D2C, right? वहाँ पे ROAS आ जाएगा जल्दी, but वहाँ profit margins भी कम होंगे, right? So it depends on the industry, it depends on the product, it depends on the acceptance of the market for your product, right? Is it, say I want to launch a luxury jewelry brand, right? Very high ticket. It's going to take a hell lot of a time for me to give you return on that marketing budget that you allocated, right? Because it's going to take a lot of time for the audience to finally make a purchase from the brand. Right? So it's very relative.
So when the client approaches you, what is your first proposal to them?
There is no proposal, right? Once a client approaches me, the first half an hour, 1 hour goes into just knowing who they are. What do they want? Before you start pitching your marketing services, I think it's very important to understand the business. Like, what is the product, right? What is the client expecting out of marketing, right? And what is the ICP? What is the ideal customer profile of the product? Who is going to buy the product? What is the target audience? Which area do they want to target? So there are a lot of questions involved. I mean, I never go to a client and say, okay, this is what we do. And, I want to understand who they are, what they want. And then we can come to the part where how can we help them.
So this was one thing which you touched upon 2 minutes back was, at marketing, our best effort is to develop a sales qualified lead for the sales to go ahead and try to convince and convert them into a client.
Yeah.
Right. So do you in your pitch talk about maximizing how you or compared to any other agency can deliver a better number of SQLs?
See, at the end of the day, that is the most important factor for a small medium business to finalize an agency, because they don't have money to burn. Right? So the first question or the first concern is that, can you get me good quality leads, right? So that has to be addressed in the proposal, which is, I think, a big part of closing a client, right? And that is where a lot of case studies come into picture, experience comes into picture, data comes into picture. Say, for example, an automobile dealership walks up to me. I have the data of 100, 150 dealerships that we worked with. And basis that, considering the segment of that brand that they're working with, we can predict. Again, that is also prediction. Nothing is guaranteed, but we can always predict better when it is backed by data.
As an agency, are you able to derive an income for a stable income month on month, because it's been 7 years,
Yeah.
a stable income month on month, which has clearly surpassed the salary you made while you were working in Delhi?
I mean, to be very honest, there hasn't been a day when we were not profitable, because it's not hard to be profitable in service-based industry. The first quarter when I started 7 years ago, the first quarter in revenue we crossed 8 figures. Right now, the thing or the catch is we made a good amount of money. I mean, for me, it was a very good amount of money when I was 22 years old. And the graph has, after a period of time, this is the truth about service based agencies, that the graph, if you're good at what you do, the graph is going to spike initially. And then for a while, it's going to be stagnant. It's never not profit making. It hasn't been for me, that's what. But uh, the graph sort of becomes stagnant for a while, unless you figure out a better ICP, or you figure out a better, you know, um, way to make more margins. So yeah, I mean, that's how it has worked out for me, and it was a game changer for everybody. For me, for my family, and it is nothing compared to what I was making when I was doing a job. But I never wanted to do a job. उससे पहले भी मेरा एक और startup था. So I mean, that was always the spirit that was inside me, that to make money, to run my own business. And yeah, I mean, that's how it unfolded. Now, as a service based agency, I think a lot of other entrepreneurs would agree that you look for the next big thing after this, right? Which is probably a product or something which can be scaled, because scaling a service based agency is not easy for sure.
Yeah.
But product mein, it's more practical.
So this is where I was coming to, that as an agency owner, you're able to build an income.
Yeah.
That income is dependent upon the effort you invest in it.
Yeah.
Can your agency has the ability to deliver your income as a passive income?
No. Passive income in a service based agency cannot happen according to me, because all my clients are there because of me, right? They trust me. The credibility of my personal brand is what sort of brings them in, is what keeps them with the agency, along with the work that we are giving them. So I don't think there's any way for a marketing agency owner to be totally passive. Of course, now my team is well equipped to handle all the projects. I'm not into knowing all the details about all the clients at all. But passive, not entirely. I think that is something that cannot happen.
So have you ever thought about that? Why or
Mm,
how would you
yeah.
want to? So have you built a passive income channel for yourself? What are your income streams?
Okay.
Let's go directly.
Okay. See, as of now, number one is my marketing agency.
Right.
Other than this, I've been fortunate enough to come across clients who later became partners. Right. So now I have a stake with the client. I mean, we're not in a agency client relationship anymore. So that is another source of income where I kind of have a bigger part to play with the brand.
So you mean to say, instead of paying you retainership, you have an advisory equity into their
Yes.
company,
Yes. Yes.
which is only liquidable if that company raises funds?
So
Or
it's different with different people.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that means you have deleted your retainership fees
Yeah.
in hope for a better chunk of income
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
But is that portfolio income or passive income? So that becomes a portfolio income,
That becomes a portfolio income.
eventual.
Yeah.
So passive income is something which is, you understand what
I understand. Yeah.
So have you been able to build a passive income stream?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I'm working a lot,
Okay.
and I'm making a lot,
Okay.
but I don't know how to, as of now, I haven't made a plan of entering into a passive income. Maybe the reason is that, I love working. I love what I'm doing. I don't want to be idle for a day. So, I mean, I haven't really pushed a lot of efforts in that direction. Maybe 5 years down the line.
In your opinion, if you just said that, agencies cannot scale to a manner where their income becomes a passive income because it is all on trust and face value. Eventually, usually, if you see, most of the agencies then they steam out after 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
That is also very long.
Yeah.
Some agencies can't even survive 1 to 2 years.
Yeah.
You have been there for 7. Even if I add another 8 to it, 15 years, what next?
See, I am working on, given the experience that I've had with clients in marketing, I am working on building tools. I'm working on building products. We are introducing a lot of automations, AI into our entire scope, right? So, even if, as a 28-year-old, I plan to work for the next 10, 20, 30 years. And all the network that I've sort of accumulated all these years is only going to grow in the future, right? With all these things that we are developing now, it is just about, standing out from what others are doing at this given point. It's never about, we never had a dearth of clients. We've never been in a place where I felt key, what next, right? Because this is itself is it's so keeps your hands full, right? You don't have the time to think what's next. I mean, in a way that maybe someday this is not going to be there. ऐसा थॉट कभी नहीं आया बिकॉज इसी में अभी इतना स्कोप मुझे लगता है अभी तो हम एज अ डिजिटल मार्केटिंग एजेंसी काम कर रहे हैं in the near future we plan on becoming a AI marketing agency bringing in a lot of automations a lot of ease for our clients and a lot of in-house uh, skill which is more AI dependent than manpower dependent. Of course, people are going to be there, but those people are going to be dependent on AI instead of manually doing everything that people do. Right? So I think there's a long way to still achieve what is out there than to think only ki, what now what.
Hmm. Have you ever thought कि अगर ये एजेंसी मैं ना करती तो और क्या मैं करती?
हाँ, ये तो मुझे लगता है सबके दिमाग में आती
हाँ.
है चीज़।
So what was that second thought?
The second thought for me directly, and which I still plan to do maybe after 15, 20 years, is that um, as I told you, I'm an art of living teacher too. And I really enjoy social work and, helping people, helping them uplift their state of mind and people dealing with any mental issues. So I think I would have devoted my entire time to that if it was not for this.
But then how would you make money? What is your personal wealth goal?
Okay, if you're talking about professionally and instead of running this business,
Yeah.
I think I would have loved to work in real estate.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that real estate would have been the right segment to
See,
do?
real estate is money.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
And I think,
Money is drugs also.
but it's not ethical, right?
Okay. So
So it has to be ethical.
ethics stop you.
Otherwise, then
You're
as
not
a
giving
what
it.
you can do. No, but ethics stop me. Na?
Okay.
So, number one, real estate.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying this is because I consider myself as a very good salesperson. Something I'm best at is sales and then marketing. So, I think real estate is good money if you are good in sales. That's a very simple, plain logic.
Do you have a
But
do you,
fancy.
do you have a personal wealth goal? That this is something I want to achieve and I'll make sure I'll do it. एक फिगर होती है दिमाग
Yeah,
में.
but मतलब, to be very frank, मुझे as an individual, I believe in having short-term goals.
Okay.
I don't believe in having a 10-year बाद का goal या 10 साल 20 साल बाद का goal. Life is very unpredictable, right? You don't know what's going to happen to you the next day, right? So I believe in having short-term goals. Of course, you save a good amount of money out of whatever you're making. Secure your next 1 year to a year. Honestly, 2-3 साल से ज़्यादा का मैं नहीं सोचती। मुझे नहीं पता if I will be here or not. किसी को नहीं पता. So that is my philosophy of working. I mean,
I agree with you as well, but I certainly would like to value add that we should bring both the goals. कि शॉर्ट टर्म भी हो और लॉन्ग टर्म भी हो, क्योंकि कभी-कभी गलती से ना हम होते हैं वहाँ पे। you know, और फिर जो हमें चाहिए वो नहीं होता है क्योंकि everything in short term we have depleted.
तो अब ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा फिलॉसफी वाली साइड चला जाएगा, बट मेरे हिसाब से आई डोंट हैव अ लॉट ऑफ नीड्स।
Okay.
I enjoy making money, but I don't really have that,
Dependency.
dependency of spending it,
Okay.
right? I don't have that, desire to own very fancy cars or branded clothes and stuff. I want to build something, right? That is my drive. My drive is not of having something. My drive is of doing something. So there's a big difference in that.
Do you contribute to the society?
Yes, I do.
How do you do that?
In two ways. Of course, there are a lot of service projects that are there in the Art of Living. Like we run, I think, hundreds of free schools, a lot of river rejuvenation things happening. Countless seva projects going on. So I contribute there. And then I take, like I said, once a month at least or twice a month, I make sure I take a meditation course, which is 3 day long. And I think you give somebody money, it's going to finish. You give something to somebody, eventually they're going to need more of it. But if you're able to equip somebody with tools that can help them manage their mind, in turn manage their life, that is empowerment.
That's very, very powerful. Like, at Meraki, if you've been doing that, that's excellent.
Yeah, I've been doing that with my team. So of course most of them have learned meditation. Most of them do meditation. And I have seen the difference in the culture, in the vibe of the place, the office, and the team as compared to a lot of other places. It makes a lot of difference.
Any another initiative which Meraki has taken, which completely makes it stand out from any other brand agency?
Yeah. So we called it Meraki Ki Pathshala. We haven't formally launched it, but we've been doing things here and there. So Meraki Ki Pathshala is about teaching digital marketing to the less privileged people. Maybe, a very small business who cannot afford an agency, who cannot afford to, even have a freelancer do marketing for them. So we sort of teach digital marketing to people who are not that privileged to have an agency or a freelancer and know nothing about marketing. So that's what we do. And for if we are talking about what we do for the society, that is something I've been doing personally. We haven't yet formally launched it, but we have, I think, had good 20-25 such people whom we helped with the marketing, overall their business.
At Meraki, you have been dealing with clients, and I'm sure you see many clients, and उसमें से there's a certain percentage of clients who come on board.
Yeah.
And how long is the process of converting a client into a paying customer? And what should the client actually expect when they have Meraki on their side?
It totally depends on, again, the ticket size of the client, right? If it is a small to mid segment client, rather, we don't do small clients, so a mid segment client, then 2 meetings are enough to sort of onboard a client, right? One is the discovery call, where we understand what they want, who they are, and after a week, we present our proposal quote. And most of the times, I said I'm too good at sales, so in that meeting itself, we onboard the client. If it is a high ticket client, like we have clients in Europe, we have clients in Australia, it can take up to 10 days, 15 days. If it's a corporate client, it can take a couple of months at times. So it depends on the ticket size and the type of the client.
When you term a client small to medium, so does that mean their turnover or the amount of retainership they will give you?
It is always in synergy. Of course, a bigger client should give you a bigger retainer, should invest more in marketing, and vice versa.
So what is the ticket size of a small which you don't deal with?
See, anybody spending 20,000, 30,000 on marketing per month
Mm.
is considered a small ticket. Anything above that is mid and then high ticket clients.
I want to clear one myth. Every small company, a clinic, a startup, anybody, they all keep searching for agencies and they get disappointed every 2-3
Yeah,
months.
yeah,
And there's a gap, I would say, between both the parties.
yeah,
One is setting expectations, which is from the agency side.
yeah.
And then even the clients, they do not understand. उनको लगता है सोशल मीडिया 10,000 में 5,000 में हो जाएगा. ये myth को how can you break it down and bust it?
See, I think this is a place where the client doesn't have a choice and the small agencies don't have a choice, right?
Mm.
Everyone has to make money.
Mm.
And उनको पता ही नहीं है हम जाए कहाँ.
Mm.
Businesses को पता ही नहीं है कि हम marketing का रूट क्या सही है उनके लिए. अब सबसे बड़ा मिथ ये है कि कोई everybody is getting their social media marketing done. Right? A B2B business is getting their social media marketing done. Completely organic dependent, maybe SEO driven brand is per se investing in social media. When you have limited funds, you should allocate them in a way that you pluck the lowest fruit, right? What is that channel where you can actually start getting more revenue and not just blindly go for social media marketing? That is another thing, right? अब सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग एजेंसीज को भी बस इतना ही पता है कि एस्थेटिक पोस्ट बना के डालनी है इंस्टाग्राम. As an agency myself, I have not invested into social media marketing as of date. Our sales pipeline comes from referrals, comes from outreach, email marketing, LinkedIn marketing. We're not there on social media. You're getting plenty of work. So you should know where to go, which channel is best suited for you. A lot of times social media becomes that pampering your ego sort of that, मेरा भी social media account है और content डल रहा है बस. Just for the heck of doing it, you're doing it.
On this context, I know few clients who get pissed off कि आज वो नराते की ad क्यों नहीं डली है?
Exactly.
आज इंडिपेंडेंस डे का पोस्ट क्यों नहीं गया है?
Yeah.
These kind of posts are, again, ego massaging situations, which is not building ROI for anyone. And वहाँ से लोग लगे हुए हैं sharing पे कि ये approved है, ये not approved है.
Yeah.
How do you tackle such
There are agencies that are legit selling packages
Yeah.
called event creators.
Hmm.
Yearly package ले लो 15-20 से 25,000 का और उसमें हर महीने हम आपका होली दिवाली सब बनाते रहेंगे. People are selling it and people are buying it. That is the most surprising part. But then what do you do? Both of them are, not educated to know that this is not going to reap any fruits. And
hats off to that agency.
because the business owner sees कि अच्छा उसने मेरे पड़ोसी ने भी तो डाला है तो मुझे भी डालना है ना वापस दिवाली का क्रिएटिव. That's what's going on. It's not, you cannot term it as marketing.
Hmm. Exactly. So I think I really like this model जो ये एजेंसी कर रही है कि भाई वो क्लाइंट है उसको ये पसंद है ये सारे आपके छुट्टियों के फेस्टिव पोस्ट के पैकेज बेचो why not? It's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I mean,
At least they have set the agency has set its expectations right.
yeah. But then see वहाँ पे भी एक्सपेक्टेशन सही नहीं है.
Hmm.
क्रिएटिव काम ऐसी चीज है जिसमें ग्रे एरिया बहुत ज्यादा है. You can
हाँ.
like a creative,
Yeah.
she cannot like a
Subjective है.
creative. It's very subjective. तो वहाँ पे भी बहुत लोग फंस जाते हैं. Attritions हो रही हैं के बाद एक ultimately वो सब bandwidth cost है जिसके लिए the client has not paid, right? So you need to sort of know what you're doing, sort of educate the client as well that this is what is needed. It is not कि आपको क्या पसंद आएगा, आपकी वाइफ को क्या पसंद आएगा. It is about what will work. That is what you need.
My last question to you. Do you feel AI has the power to replace a marketing agency?
Not at all.
Why?
अभी भी सब कुछ अवेलेबल है. अगर मैं AI की बात करूँ, every tool is still available. Who is going to use it? Are the clients going to learn them? Is the client going to sit and learn AI? Is the client going to sit and learn how to do marketing with AI? They're not never going to do it. आज तक नहीं किया, आज के बाद भी नहीं करेंगे, right? it's a different ball game altogether. If I sit and say कि मेरा एक client है real estate का, मैं पहले building बनाना सीख लूँ, it's like saying that, you know. So marketing, even if AI is there, how do you use AI to do marketing is a different ball game altogether. It doesn't mean that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can do it. Not saying that business owners don't have that capability to do it. They might, but then any business owner would not want to do everything by themselves, right? There's a reason you outsource things. There's a reason you collaborate with experts, and that is going to remain the same, AI or not AI.
So on that note, would you as an agency use AI?
Yeah.
The client doesn't know.
Yeah.
You as an agency use AI and speed up the work, reduce the effort, save cost, because it is your core expertise to build or pick up a tool which eases your daily functioning.
Yeah.
You will invest in that time, you will invest in that technology, you will learn. Would you do that? Or are you doing
We are
that?
doing it.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, we're doing it. I mean, you have to equip your team with the knowledge of how to use AI, of how to use which tool, right? There was a time when a lot of product shoots used to happen, right? All of that has zeroed down to certain tools now, right? So we're already doing it. As I said, that the aim is to sort of automate and ease out the team as well, so that there is no creative fatigue. And the same team can, if they are currently managing 5 accounts, in the future, once they are upskilled, probably they can manage 10 to 15 accounts or more, right? Because they are saving all time. But that money or that um, result is because of upskilling, is because of the value that is being added to the team, right? So it's a fair game.
Have you ever taken a loan to build your company or fuel your operation costs?
No.
No.
Never.
And if today you lose everything and you have zero money, what actions will you take in the next 30 days to build something for yourself?
For a service based agency, you don't really need a lot of money to start. So just onboard a few clients. That money gives you the fuel to sort of have a very small team, and that is how you just keep building your working capital, right? And of course, spend wisely. I mean, for the first few years, especially when you're 22, 23-year old and you're making a lot of money, there's a tendency of spending a lot as well, right? But then don't give in to that tendency. Build your working capital. It's very doable. I've never taken a loan. I've never taken money from anybody.
So I think this summarizes, what our chat is all about. That from 0 to X in the last 7 years, you have built a company which is now valuable. You are working with, large companies delivering ROI based marketing campaigns, and plus you have been able to build that edge where the companies are ready to offer you a permanent partnership against advisory and sweat. So hats off to you. Congratulations on building Meraki, and more power to you.
Thanks, Tushar. And I think this podcast is a great opportunity and a great platform for such discussions of 0 to X.
Absolutely.
So all the very best.
So the core idea for this podcast is to enlighten people that there are hidden challenges. There is a cost of capital. Uh, there's a value which which we earn when we put effort, and what is worth. Is it worth it or not? So that everybody who has the time to invest in any certain business or investment or portfolio or passive should calculate in the back of the mind that is it really worth it?
Yeah, and just add one last thing from my side, that I think 0 to X is very doable.
Yeah.
X to Y is where you need to invest.
Hmm.
You know, 0 से X तक आना, like now we're at X, we are making good money since the last 6-7 years. But then what next? The question that you asked me, now that needs investment.
Yeah. So on that note, thank you for coming on our podcast,
Thanks.
and thank you for
Thanks.
sharing your journey. Thanks.